Alright, so we're going to review the Ash vs. Evil Dead Ultimate figure by Necca. This came out early 2019, so it is this year. It is a re-release of a mold of a figure they already did, with a couple little extra doodads. So it comes with a really nice holographic front on the box. It has the tree motif throughout the box with the yellow finish. It does show you a preview of what the figure is and what it looks like. I actually really like that there's a picture of a model Delta behind it. That would be kind of cool to find it. This is a 7-inch figure, so this is the ultimate scaling. That's why it's referred to as that. It's not a 6-inch scaling, it's a 7-inch scaling. A lot of people like the 6-inch scale because then if you're doing proportional builds for backgrounds and things like that, it's 1 inch is a foot, but a little different. So as you can see, it comes with a really nice picture on this side. It comes with a new photograph replica of his Jacksonville era. Well, was it season 2 that they showed it? The Delta. Basically, when he goes back to Elk Grove, Michigan, he's got a picture of the Delta in his thing. It was after Jacksonville, and they put that in there, which is cool. It has a shorter forearm piece so that you can attach the wrist cuff or the full gauntlet. It has the boomstick. It has Woody, which is weird because he never wore it while he was in this, so we may repaint this into a dead hand or something. It's got the 3 heads, which is standard look, mouth slightly ajar, slightly angry, and then like really pissed off. And it comes with the chainsaw attached. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a closer look at this figure and see what we can do with it. First things first, it comes with the Books from Beyond background. It's a very nice background. It does make for a very nice display, to display your figure. I do recommend using this to set up and display your figure. It is quite nice. So very, 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 very cool thing to include with it. I like that little Books from Beyond background. The next thing that we're going to look at, and we're going to zoom in a little bit here to do this, is the actual paint job itself. Now, I have gone in and already moved the head. I like the screaming head. That's pretty funny. The boomstick fits nicely into the harness. The harness is not attached in the back. You can see this little flap here is not attached to the body. So we have 2 options. We can cut that off and then glue this down and paint one ourselves, or we can just glue this to the body. Either one is fine. If you touch the figure and you squeeze the body, the shirt is laying on a form. The shirt itself is not the mold, so this has some give to it. So this is a rubber. You can see it moving there. This is actually interesting. The joints are pretty standard. It's an upper arm, a lower arm, and an elbow joint is a new piece in the middle, so they're not doing the old disc system that G.I. Joe used to do that was very popular. Overall, it's a really good mold. I've already attached the shorter arm piece and the gauntlet. See if I can get it to focus, because it doesn't want to. Let me just zoom again. That'll be better. Alright, so let's get this out of here, because it seems to want to focus on that. And let's focus on this. Sorry, it's not focusing at all. Weird that I can't get it to focus. Sorry. So the gauntlet's already on. The underpiece is on. So let's just take a look right away. The leg joints and all the Necca joints in general do not move well. Knees are kind of the same thing. They insert into the upper leg. So a bit of an issue. First of all, the tread on the bottom of the shoes is not accurate. So that's a little disappointing. If you look at the shoe itself, it has a similar cut, but you don't really get the suede quality of the boot, so we're going to have to go in and two-tone the shoes. The pants are fine, but the harness is completely black. Unacceptable. So we're going to have to go in and work on this a little bit, because we need to make this brown, because at least the Kelly belt has to be brown. I don't mind leaving the webbing black. Similarly with the harness is not the appropriate color. We're going to have to go in and change that. If you look at the Power Glove, it does not have enough silver on it. There's not enough silver. The red is coming through even on the fingers. It's not a bad paint job, but it could be a lot better. And then on the inside of the hand, unfortunately, no paint. If I look, it looks like some of the detailed pieces are somewhat etched in and scratched in, but almost virtually no identifiable paint on the inside of the Power Glove, which kind of sucks. So we're going to have to try to create some detailing there. The boomstick, it's not terrible. I mean, it's kind of fine the way it is. Not really disappointed with the boomstick. The saw, on the other hand, is a whole other problem. The saw needs some changing. So, as you can see, there's a lot going on. It's got some good detail. But we really need to go in and make some changes on this saw. Particularly in the bar, the grill, and we got to add some black, and we got to change that. So we're actually going to start with that. So let's do that first. Let's go move Ash out of the way. And let's start there. I'm going to take my Molto Chrome pen. And we are just going to start painting the bar. Now this will come out super chrome finish, which is not what we want. So we're actually going to buff off the chrome when we're done, but it'll get us started. Now already, that's going to be a little more complicated. We're going to have to be a little tricky with that one. Already we're getting much higher quality finish on the blade than we had. So already, if you look at that, we're already talking about some serious chrome here. You know what? I will go in and do the guard. And I'll do the grill. Okay, so much chromier and brighter all ready to start. This will help us when we go in to do the weathering, and while we're at it, we can do the Power Glove, because that needs some adjusting as well. So the back of the hand needs a little bit of love. Now the trick is, once you get it chrome, is to dab it with your thumb and take some of the luster right off. So let's see if we can. So already, big improvement there. Just get some of that thumb looking a little bit better. Even though some of these parts aren't actually silver, we're going to give it some detail. So now, let's zoom. Now, when you look at that arm, you can see there's a lot more detail going into the glove than there was. So that's a big step up for us. We like that. Let's also take a look at the saw, which we just did. Now we got to add the black. So you could accomplish this a number of different ways, but I'll be honest with you, you can just do a Sharpie. I know it sounds like, why would you even bother doing a paint job if you're going to do such a crappy finish on it? But the truth is, the Sharpie works just fine. What's important is always drag it in the same way. Now, as you notice, the Sharpie is not delivering black like you would suspect. Why is that? Well, because we've already gone down with the chrome pen. So it's not going to completely give us that glossy Sharpie chrome finish. So this is why I like to use the Sharpie in conjunction with the Molotow. And we can grunge this as well, and we will. Okay, so a little bit of detail now. Already this is a much improved model, but we have to actually get in and detail the saw itself as well. I'll take a finer Sharpie, much more of a fine tip, and go in and grab some of the detail that this should already have. First of all, there's like no grunging on this at all, which is really frustrating. So what I like to do is I'll go in and just kind of grab it. And we're going to have to play cat and mouse a little bit. So they've actually painted the tabs red on this. So that is the pieces that attach to the cuff. They're not supposed to be red. They're supposed to be silver and then very, very black. It also looks like they've gone in and metallized the exhaust, which is no good. So we got to make that black too. I don't know why they would have silvered the exhaust. That's very weird. So we paint that as well. And again, this is not paint. This is just a Sharpie. It's nothing special. But it will give us the look of a Brett Scroovy chainsaw. Which is what we want. And then remember in the back there's all that black weathering. And then you smudge it with your finger. And also want to go in and grunge up the bar. Now what's interesting with the bar is you can actually get in on the end and give it a little bit more of a character on your... Now if you want to get extreme, you can even trace in the shape, because there's this ball here, so you can kind of go in and trace that necessary shape if it's something you're looking to do. Depends on how customized you want your figure. And there's little dots and bits up here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you know, little things like that. But overall, you can see now we have a very nice different look to the saw. And if we go to the back of the saw here, you can see we started to add that weathering, but we're gonna have to go in and chrome out some of the tabs because they're too red, and this is gonna be a nightmare if we don't do it. So let me add necessary grunging. to the bottom. Right now we're primarily just dealing with the back of the saw, which doesn't even count what we got to do with the front of the saw. So there's some bits here that need to be done in the very front. There's no weathering here. So we've got to create that. There's way too much red around the grill. I'm going to pull this away from the camera for just a minute so I can get my fat head in here and do a better job with this. So we got to get way more black into the grill. And I'm not against Necca on any level. I think they make great figures, but I have always felt like I got to do my own. Ever since I was a kid, I used to trace and draw on my figures, customize them, bloody them for battle, different things. I never was satisfied with just a figure the way it was. I always customized. So a lot of people be like, why would you spend all that money on a Necca figure and then customize it? And it's like, well, that's what I do. I don't accept anything the way it is. Everything I own, I want to make better. I'll probably add some blood to this ash as well. Now, we're going to go in and chrome a little bit. The question becomes, where do you want to weather it? So you kind of want it to have a bit of a worn look. So you go right in on the edge there, you get a little bit of that. Same thing over here. Maybe you catch a screw. Maybe you catch an edge there. Now, there is a thing going on with this handlebar that I'm not thrilled with. I feel like it moves, and it's got some mobility to it, but it's not quite the shape I want. I may go in and modify the handlebar at some point. But the main thing we need to put some chrome on. Actually, we should get some on the handlebars, don't you think? We need to get a little bit of edging on the bar here. Let's see, can I get it to focus? The problem with background stuff is you can see a little bit of the edge there. We'll do it in the back too, even though the back is supposed to have way more black on it. All right, next step is we're really going to need to get the tabs tab cuff, and the last tab is up top. Okay, so now we've gone in, done the tabs, done a little bit of weathering, added some edging, just a tad. Maybe get 2 bolts here and here. Now, Brett's going to kill me because this is supposed to be black back here, but yeah, he is going to kill me. All right, let's just do a little more black gunk. Yeah, I got to get a little bit of black over those 2 bolts in the back because that's kind of the way it goes. We switch now to the blade and the bar here. A little bit more grunge, a little bit more gunk, but nice finish. Underneath, again with the tab. So this is a vastly, and now let's compare it to the picture of the saw on the back of the box. So let's go, or the one on the inside maybe is a better comparison. So let's take a look. Let's switch the camera. So that was what we were dealing with. That's what we've turned it into. So we have a much better looking bar. And we've added some extra details and things on the back that that version didn't have because it was overly red. So that is the first example of customization. We've also done the same thing to the Power Glove, and that's something you can do very simply with a Malto chrome pen, which comes in different varying thicknesses, and some Sharpies, to be honest with you. You don't even need to, but you can get paint. Gundam markers work really well. If you're into Gunpla or Mini-Pla, you can do the Gundam markers. They're great. Where's that other piece that I want? Yeah. So, the next step will be weathering Ash himself. Gonna have to go in and do some modifications to Ash. The main one, obviously, is we gotta fix this. We gotta repaint this. We gotta paint the Kelly belt so that it's better. That's gonna be extremely difficult to do considering the detail of the holes. We're gonna have to come up with something a little better than Malto pen for that. We're gonna have to get a very fine piece for that. So that's the next step, but at least for now, this is also really hard to get in, I'm noticing, which is very upsetting. Like, you really have to bend the crap out of this to attach it, which I don't like. But now we've got ourselves a slightly better looking Ash. So that, in my opinion, is a nice saw upgrade. There's probably a need to get some black on the edges there too, but overall, really good saw upgrade. You can go in and add more or less black as you need, more detail as you need, but this is obviously how it'll display, so you want that side to look the best. So that's how we do it, and the next time we see this Ash, he'll be even more customized.